The following is a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
From the birthplace of modern winemaking, Sonoma, California, welcome to The Winemakers. Local experts Sam Couturi, Bart Hansen, and Brian Casey, along with host John Myers, invite you to listen in as they discuss all facets of winemaking. So sit back, pour yourself a glass, and let's hear what the guys have to say this week.
We're going to get a pour?
Yes.
What would you like, Brian?
White, blanc.
So it's an orange wine, if that's cool with you.
Of course.
And then if
Oh,
the,
we won't
it's
hear
the,
a Corvin,
the new
will we?
Corvin, I'm sure you can figure that out. It's very self-explanatory.
You have to push the button.
There is a little
Yes.
bottom on the back.
Yeah, if you while
Never
you're
used a
pouring, push
Corvin
that.
before? Here we go.
But not like fancy
Brian's
like this
gonna get
one,
it.
John.
All right. Here we go.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
I'll pass that along to whoever's next. Hey everyone, welcome to the Winemakers.
Oh, thank you.
We are really excited today. We have Sophia Quercioli from Podere Le Ripi.
Perfect.
Close,
Perfect.
huh? Which is in the southeast part of Montalcino, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful biodynamic vineyard. I really want to talk about the cellar today. I'm super excited to talk about the cellar. 750,000 bricks that they took.
You started.
8 people, 4 years to build this entire thing. And then the Bonsai Vineyard, the high density vineyard. Super excited to talk about that because it's quite unusual. Planted in, I think, 98, 99, the property.
Yeah. The property, yes, the bonsai, 2005. So
2005.
a little bit later.
And owner, is Francesco Illy the owner, or is he just the crazy person running this place?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. No, Francesco actually is the first dreamer of Podere Le Ripi,
Yeah.
because when he decided to start to live in Tuscany around 1995, he was looking for a property in Montalcino, but he didn't expect actually to start to produce wine. Being in Montalcino, being a wine lover, he decided to try to plant some vineyards, and here we go. Finally, we are a group of pretty young winemakers, wine lover,
Yeah.
and we are leading the farm, the place
Yeah.
from many
Would you
years.
like to introduce our guests today?
I think I just did. Sorry.
Everybody?
Oh, sorry. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? I don't know what your title is.
My name is Heather Gordon.
And get right up in there.
And
Yes, please.
my name is Heather Gordon, and I am the California State Manager for Dark Star Imports.
And Dark Star is part of...
We are distributed in California by 3 different distributors.
Okay.
But we're our own company, our own import company. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're all over the U.S. But yeah.
Because I thought I saw something about Rare being part of the distribution on these wines, but no. Okay, so it's all Dark Star. You're the only one that brings these wines
Yes.
into the United States.
Yes, and some states maybe, like New York, maybe they might have a different separate importer just
Right.
for one state.
Okay.
Predominantly, I would say we have the Rippy wines in the U.S. though.
And how did you guys find these wines?
So our owner, Marco Stevanoni, is a big lover. He's Italian, of course, and then he's also just loves biodynamics. And I believe he and Francesco are good friends. And so
good
he,
friends.
yes, and so he, these are some of his favorite wines. And then the bonsai wines that you were talking about, the high density plantings, that it's actually the most densely planted piece of property in the world with vines.
Yeah, when I heard the number, I wasn't sure whether to believe it or not. Like the
Yeah,
amount
it's
of vines per
crazy.
hectare. Like I didn't.
Me neither.
Yeah, it seemed like a typo.
11,000?
Yeah. Wow. And they're
11,000
bonsai. They're little
Basically
bonsai
2
trees.
acres, right?
2 acres, 0.4.
2 acre, 2.4.
Yes, it's the only conversion that I know. And I know the others are like crazy for me.
Sam,
I know
how would
grams to
that,
ounces, but that's different.
how would that compare to your planting?
Say it again.
How would that compare to your?
Just like a typical vineyard, I guess.
Okay, so it's 11,000. I'm doing math on a phone here. 11,000 I haven't had enough wine yet to do this. 11,000 vines in 2.4 acres.
Yeah. And by the way, what are we drinking, Jack? Why don't you tell us what we're drinking while Sam's doing math? Because it might be a
It's
while.
going to be a while.
Carry the one.
Makes a mistake doing math on calculator. Yes, that's on my resume.
No, that's a different wine. Actually, not a classic variety for Montalcino, because it's a white variety, two whites variety. Trebbiano mostly, and a bit of Malvasia. That's our orange wine. It's a gentle style of orange wine. Yeah. We just found this vineyard in the west side of Montalcino, where we bought the vineyards lately.
Okay, so explain that, because I was under the the acid. I was under the impression that you guys planted everything. What do you mean you found it? What does that mean?
Because around the property in the southeast, we planted vineyards, because before Francesco there lived a shepherd. So only animals, no vines, no wine cellar. So we needed to start actually from zero. Yeah. Around 2015, we were looking for other challenging. And so we decided to buy vineyards in the opposite side of Montalcino itself, in the middle of the forest. Okay. So Sangiovese mostly, but also
in the middle of the forest.
In the middle of nowhere. See, you need to get lost several times before finding the vineyards in the west.
I love that.
Yes, I would like to say the same, but no. No, it's a beautiful place, but very well hid. So, yeah. And so this is it. So we started to produce this white wine in a pretty more comfortable way that we already know. So using the skins for a few months, because 6 months of skin contact in amphoras, we were looking for an extra taste, because white varieties in Montalcino sometimes are very neutral. So we were looking for something crunchy.
Nice. Yeah, what are the typical white varietals in that area?
In Montalcino, in the past, we had a lot of Moscatello. That was a sweet wine, more popular than Brunello di Montalcino many years ago. Then,
what a time that would have been.
Oh my!
There's all the Muscat you want, sweet, probably a little fizzy, and the Brunello is $5.
Just waiting in the background. What a time to be alive.
10 years to...
Yeah, time changed.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. Yeah. And so when did you start working at the property?
I started in April 2019.
Okay.
I studied winemaking in Florence, and then I had a few months in researching, viticulture researching. I had the opportunity then to see how a biodynamic farm could work in one of the most important area for wine, so Montalcino, and say, okay, let's see. And then I had enough time to fall in love completely with the place, with the people as well. It's a pretty nice place we're working, Le Ripi. Yeah.
And Sebastian has always been the winemaker from the beginning?
Yes, he started in 2012. Okay. And with another guy, Alessandro, they started to take care about the production. Alessandro for vineyards, Sebastian for wines, and they were actually the first two guys to start to build the team that we are today. So from 2-3 guys, 5, now we are 30, pretty young and with a great passion for winemaking and wines in general.
Yeah, let's tell people how to spell it so they can actually look it up while they're listening to the show. If you go to PODERE LERIPI. Yeah. And you actually have a cool thing on the website where you can look at the staff members there, and you can see that it looks like they're all pretty young people.
Yes. Yes. Actually, the picture that I think it's on the website about me was from the very beginning. So I was younger in 2019 than now, like many guys over there, but we're still pretty young.
And in that area, like, how long have they been making wine? Not you guys specifically, but in that area, because like the Romans, fall of the Roman Empire, everything sort of gets scattered to the wind. So how long have they actually been growing grapes in that particular region that you're in?
In Montalcino?
Yeah.
from the very, very beginning, but
The beginning.
Since the
I love
beginning of
that.
time.
Since the beginning.
And it was before it was Romans, it was Etruscans, right?
yeah, of course.
Those
But
those are my people.
Montalcino was a land of farmers, so everyone used to have his own little vineyard, and only pretty recently winemaking started to be the core business of the area itself, because we discovered that Sangiovese can show very nice result for aging and growing there. So because Montalcino is special, is a hill, so it's like an island, a happy island for the moment in winemaking.
And then how do you feel about the rise of Super Tuscans that sort of came about? I know you guys, I think you have some Merlot and Syrah on the property, but you're kind of making wines a little more old school than... I won't put words in your mouth. How do you feel about Super Tuscans in general?
They're different. They are absolutely different. And so there's enough space for both Brunello, Super Tuscan, because it depends on how you wake up in the morning. So
Well, talking with
They could have gotten a little more romantic name for that instead of Super Tuscan.
Some wines are strictly for Campari.
Most mornings, if we're being honest.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, talking with Sophia, because we've spent quite a bit of time together now, she was telling me because the 2019 Syrah is actually the last of it, because they had to rip it out due to the climate changing.
Exactly.
They can't keep it on their...
Syrah vine decline? Or just the...
no, actually in Montalcino we have a particular weather. That's why Sangiovese is able to be so special there. But it's not a weather that include all varieties, because the different varieties used to have a different behavior, and Syrah planted in clay soils in such a dry weather at the very beginning, so for the first 20 years, so not only for the very beginning but for a while more, we were able to grow pretty well the Syrah, and we found a way to have a pretty nice wine for us with the Syrah and Sangiovese blending the two varieties. But when the season started to be actually crazy and very, very different, we noticed that Syrah wasn't able to change his behavior as fast as we need, and also as fast as the plants need to survive. So at the end, we needed to replace the Syrah with Sangiovese that is more dynamic and able to change itself faster depending on the condition to survive, and then also to produce few grapes, but that's another story.
So then how many different varieties do you have growing on the actual estate?
Only Sangiovese and Trebbiano and Malvasia. Yeah,
Cool.
That's it.
Can I try some more wine?
Yeah, of course.
What would you like to try?
Such a lineup.
I don't know. That's...
And we have a pretty...
I feel isolated. I don't see the line. What's next?
Well, they have a brand new lineup that's come out that Sophia has had a huge hand in making, and it actually follows the story of Little Pink Riding Hood instead of Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe would you like to try? There's a Carbonic Sangiovese, and then there's Sangiovese Rosé.
It's a rainy day outside. It'll be sunny in our glasses.
You want to go rosé carbonic or vice versa?
I don't. Whatever you.
Let's go
recommend?
Rosé, and then we can go after.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's better
Yes.
to go first.
So we're
with
talking about
Rosé.
Sangiovese Rosato?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
See, then there are many different kind of rosato. So for us, rosato must be crunchy and with nice aromas. So 2022, there is the harvest that we have today is our first try of rosato. We left the skins one night in contact with the mast itself to have an extra aroma, because we were looking not for a boring wine but a dynamic wine. So only concrete, the color is a little bit more deep, about what we expected. It's also the harvest 22, a little bit more dry, so concentration a little bit more important, but still very refreshing, easygoing wine for every day. Yeah.
And is there an Italian translation for crunchy?
Croccante. Croccante.
Yeah. Have you guys? How long have you been using that adjective for wines in Italy, or is it something the American market? They know what the hell you're talking about.
No, actually, wine is like food. Yeah. So wines talk with your palate, not only with your nose. So when you have a particular feeling in your palate, you need also different adjectives, not only the aromatic one.
I'm just teasing you. It seems like over the last 2 years, there's certain words that have been used to describe wines. Crunchy is one of the new ones, and
vibrant,
vibrancy, energy,
intentional.
I think crunchy's got longer use than I think of tasting Burgundies with Uncle Bobby back in the day, and you taste a great one that's got crunchy tannins. Right. So I don't necessarily think. I mean,
just hear more of it now.
The Natty Bros have taken crunchy, and maybe they just they're kind of crunchy. As humans, that might be part of it.
Crunchy people.
This is nice. Was this fruit harvested early compared with?
Yeah. Usually for Rosato, we harvest earlier. 2022 was very challenging in terms of timing of harvest.
It was really hot there, right?
Very hot, but very dry. That was the main problem. So in Montalcino, we started to pick grapes at the end of August. Never happened before, 2022. So we were pretty scared about it, because when you do something you never did before, you say, okay, am I doing well or not? But now we are happy about those decisions.
The acid's incredible on this.
Yeah.
It's just sticking in my mouth, and never ending. So many things to talk about. Will you?
What would you eat with this, Brian, or maybe to the guests?
I'm wanting a little bit of gamey charcuterie. Sounds amazing. Copa.
Veal. No. I'm just thinking Italian. What I just ate.
Vitello.
I feel like this also could be rebranded as a light-bodied red. You could put a chill on here.
It's almost there.
Yes.
Yeah.
You would probably serve this a little chilled, right?
I would say.
Yeah, it depends on the personal taste. In summertime, I love this wine. Pretty.
Do we have anything in the U.S. that approximates this, guys?
In this incredibly huge wine world that we have, there's people, but no, I haven't tried one that tastes like this. No,
you couldn't grow.
It's a beautiful
Sangiovese
taste. I'm really having a fun time.
Tasted like this in Sonoma for sure.
No,
and why?
I think it's because
all the reasons.
The rosé, the market in the U.S., we want a very pale pink. And if we see that it's darker in color, we think it's sweet.
But why can't we grow it, Sam?
Just because the climate and the soil, it would be at this level of ripeness. It would be. It just wouldn't.
You need more heat. A lot more heat.
It's just different. This is terroir. There's flavors in here that we would never, no matter what, we could do all the exact same things.
And it's not
pick it at the exact same chemistry. And it would never. This is why we've done 360 episodes. We can keep talking about this shit. It's always different.
Yeah.
It's just a very unique taste, and I'm loving it. It's really beautiful.
Great.
Before we move on, what would you eat with this, Sophia?
With the rosé. With rosé, I think you can play a lot also with not Italian food, but also with Japanese or spices. You can have fun with rosato and the orange, the canna torta. I think could be great. Also tasting different kind of cucine, so traditional dishes. See. Yeah. They can support also particular taste more than more traditional approach in the making.
Yeah. Nice.
So when you come, you get hired. What is that process like? Do you go to them? You're looking for a job, or are they looking for someone and a bunch of people applied and they chose you? What was the...
Yes, something similar, because a friend of mine from university started to work in Le Ripi 6 months before myself. Chavo.
Chavo, yeah.
Chavo.
We love Chavo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so in around 2018, 2019, the group in the making wine, taking care about vineyards, so winemakers team was growing the group. So they were looking for someone, and actually I was looking to learn how to do wines, actually, because even if you study at university, if you don't practice, if you don't touch what you're doing, it's very hard to understand and to try to do something, actually. So I think I found them in the right moment for my life, because I was leaving Italy, and I never did because I needed to choose. But I had the opportunity to learn a lot, and I'm still having. So.
And why did they build up the team over such a short period of time? Because you weren't planning more grapes. You just needed more and more people every year.
Yes, in some during the season we need support from new guys for the harvest that is very busy. Then also Montalcino is seasonal in terms of tourism, so we love welcoming people. So we want also to try to have the best experience for who is coming. Yeah. So we love having people that live the property, live Le Ripi's life, not only for a couple of months, but the whole year. Yeah. So like resident. And
who does come to visit? Like what's your busy time of year?
The best month, like May, June, September, October as well. We never close the winery to guests. So
is it English, French, Americans?
A little bit of everything. Asian, Italian as well.
Italian.
Sì, depending on the month, the moment of the year, we have different people. You know, Italian guys during summer times enjoy the seaside. So it's easier to have Italian, for example, right, the fall time or winter.
And some of your neighbors, are they like some of the larger places, or do you have a lot of small, like there's a couple that lives next to you guys where they're like 85, 90, something like that?
Acres.
No. Age. There's an older couple that owns a property next to you guys. But
absolutely.
In general, is it a little bit more commercial?
But about our area?
In that area, yeah. Or it's a mix?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. Montalcino, we are more than 200 winemakers, wineries. So, and the vines, the vineyards are not so many. So you can find pretty big wineries, and at the same time, very familiar realities, like 5 acres or something like that. So it's a little bit of everything.
Okay. Cool. Nice. I wanted to talk about the cellar, unless...
Okay.
I want to try carbonic.
I want to try carbonic. I want to try all these wines. So the cellar is... I think I heard Francesco talking about, he wanted to build like a really cool cellar, but unfortunately, whatever, he didn't have a lot of money. And so he built this cellar that's all brick. And it's a weird like ratio of 1 to 1.6. Like it's this whole sort of math science thing. The other thing about having this brick cellar is that it's porous.
Yeah.
Right? So it's sort of an unusual, you guys are doing, I'm assuming, natural fermentations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just a very unusual atmosphere in the cellar, right? Because everything is living.
Exactly. Everything is alive.
Yeah.
So, and that's great actually for spontaneous fermentation and our approach in the making in general, because it means that every time that we have a new harvest, picking bunches and taking them inside the cellar, we raise the life content inside the cellar itself. So some microorganisms start to live around, and that's great. It's a very French approach, like a cellar. In Italy, it's harder to find a cellar completely built with bricks. Yeah. Also because it's harder to obtain license.
No, I encourage people to go on the website and see pictures.
Is it harder to obtain a license for a cellar made of bricks versus some other material?
Yes, because of the porosity of the bricks itself.
Yeah.
We have many controls every time because wine is like food. So everything must be very, very clean. We need certification. It's not very easy. But
so it's like when you put in a kitchen at a restaurant. I mean, you want stainless steel.
Yeah.
The floors have to have drains, like that kind of stuff. And this place
I think if you were putting a winery in California, if you wanted to put in brick, they'd say, well, that's a terrible idea. But I don't think there would be any rules against it. They would just let you go and figure it out on your own.
I know, bureaucracy in Italy is amazing.
Right?
That's a word for it.
For better or for worse. Do you have to, never mind, pay somebody to build a brick winery?
There was 8 people, took them 4 years and 750,000 bricks to build this place.
It's a number.
It's amazing when you see pictures of it or video of it, and it's circular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How is it for insulation? Sorry to interrupt. How is it in? I mean, also you have bricks that are porous and absorb heat and.
Actually, the cellar is more than half completely underground. Okay. So to maintain the perfect temperature, then we have 2 doors. One in the top, so where we start with the fermentation process that watch sun the whole day, and another door on the bottom that see the sun only very early morning. So we are able to maintain the best temperatures naturally inside. That's useful. Yeah.
And is it all gravity fed then from the top down?
We try to use most of the time gravity, but logistic is not always very easy. When we need to go back from the bottom to the top, we need to use pump.
So will you talk a little bit about the Bonsai Vineyard and why it came about?
Allora, bonsai is something very crazy we can say.
Be crazy.
Be crazy, my friend.
Crazy, my friend.
No, actually, it's amazing seeing how plants are able to survive in such a strange competition. I don't know how to say, but it's the densest vineyard in the world. 62,000 plants in 1 hectare is uncommon.
Sorry to interrupt. How do you pick?
No, but the problem is not picking. The problem is working the soil. The problem is removing grass
anything?
By hand.
But you have to have skinny people only?
Skinny, not very tall. There's a physical selection. No, I'm joking. But,
halfway there.
No, it's not very easy, of course, because while you're working in that vineyard, you have to take care about yourself, about the plants around you, specifically when we have the new season. When the new season starts in April, we do the green pruning, so selection of buds that we need and the other one that we don't need. The little sprouts are very delicate, so you need to take care about what's around.
What is the spacing between the vines?
It's not a lot, around 30 centimeters.
And they're arranged.
It's
like that.
It's insane.
And they're arranged in squares, correct?
Yes, exactly, in squares, because we are crazy, but not so much. We need to to pick the grapes. We need also to take the boxes with us on the tractor. Yeah. So we move through the rows by tractor.
Somebody have a picture of this?
Yeah, you can.
I have many with the snow as well.
And what are the dimensions of the squares approximately?
Good question. It's around a couple of 2 meters, 5.5, I think, around. Yeah.
So
something
is there
like that.
like a series of these squares that have like little avenues in between that you can go through, or is there no avenues?
No, we can go through
This is
the
we're like really missing out on this one being a video podcast because the facial expressions right now are priceless. Okay, sorry, go on. How do you? What the fuck?
Right?
No, it's actually it's hard but amazing seeing how vines survive and still producing there. For sure, the balance inside the vineyard is not like the balance we have in a more traditional vineyard itself. So in the challenging season, it's harder and harder try to pick some grapes from the vineyard itself. But it's unique.
But I think the reason I've heard Francesco talk about is because you were coming in there and you were going to have all new vines on the property.
Yeah.
That he wanted to make wine, and people were saying, oh, you don't have any old vine wine. So his theory was, if you plant a high density vineyard where the root structure is competitive with all of its little neighbors, that the roots would then go down deeper faster.
Yes, exactly like happened in years in a classic vineyard. So with such a high density, it's like we forced the roots to go directly deeper without exploring the first layer of the soil, that is the richer one in organic substances. So the layer where the roots enjoy to stay when the plant is not adult yet. So
can roots detect water over here and move towards that direction?
Yes, of course, but roots are like, for plants, roots are like our brain. So we suppose that the brain is the more clever and curious part of ourselves. So the roots are the same for vines. So they always look for something.
Sophia actually has her own little project that she has too. That's
I had too much free time. So.
So you can tell her passion, and she's taken it into her own little project too, which is beautiful, which is not imported in a teeny amount made.
Yeah.
But
tell us about your project.
2,000 bottles per year, something like that. So.
Wait, is it from this property?
Not from the property. The vineyard that I rent with my colleague, because we are two in this project.
Not Chavo.
It's Chavo.
It's Chavo. We need some of this wine.
It's Chavo.
Yeah.
See, exactly. So the vineyard is still in Montalcino, but it's a very tiny vineyard. It is owned by an old man from Castelnuovo dell'Abate village, where I live. And so Ivano, this old man, turned 90 last year. So he was looking for someone taking care of vineyard, or he would like to explant it. We were looking for a vineyard to try to do everything alone, from winemaking. And so that's how everything started.
Is it Sangiovese or?
Sangiovese, sì, 100% Sangiovese. Yeah, but we
a
decided
little bit of carbonic.
We tried. So this project was born to have fun, first of all, and to try everything we would like to try. So the first harvest, 2022, was a traditional approach in the Montalcino making, so a classic vinification, spontaneous, of course. And the second harvest, we tried a different kind of carbonic. So now we are figuring out how we would like to go on. But
And Sophia had mentioned that it was somewhat similar to Pulsard. like from Jura,
sometimes
some of the
happen.
red, like a little lighter. Yeah,
si,
we were talking about our love for Jura and Trousseau and Poulsard, and hers is maybe a bit which is fun for Sangiovese.
Huh.
Very different. Yes, then this harvest was the 2023. 2023 was very different than all other seasons I saw in Montalcino, more diluted. And so maybe it's also for this reason.
Wait, more what?
Diluted, more water in berries.
Okay.
It's like summer rain. There's not irrigation, right?
No irrigation, but actually in 2023 we didn't need irrigation. Si.
Well, and then doing your own little project too, because I think a lot of the Sangiovese that you're making at Le Ripi is like 3 or 5 year age in oak, right? So if you're doing a little project on the side, that's kind of a long commitment for you and Chavo to be like, hey, yeah, let's make some wine. Well, maybe we can sell it in like 6 years.
No. The aim is pretty different. Also because we don't have a cellar, so we don't have space to age the wine. That's why we are trying to do Sangiovese more enjoyable from the very beginning. So yeah.
Okay, what are we trying now?
Ok, let's go. Sì, Rosso di Montalcino. Yeah, Sogni e Follia. 2020, that is the current harvest we released. Because as you mentioned before, for us in Le Ripi, Sangiovese, traditional style of Sangiovese, enjoy to spend a couple of years in big barrels. Big barrels that use not to impact wine with the flavors, but just let the wines breathe. Hi, we're skipping Carboni. Are you curious?
You guys can move on. I'm gonna drink it. It's like juicy, earthy.
So more maturation, botti and larger style.
Sì.
formats. Okay.
From the spontaneous fermentation, we start in big casks. And then 2020 spent, if I remember well, 28 months in big barrels. It depends, harvest by harvest, depending what the wine we think needs.
Yeah, that's what I loved hearing Sebastian and Julia talk about the wines. I saw a video where they were talking with some English customers or something, and they were talking about the variance in the vintages and like. Yeah, of course the wines don't taste the same every year. Like
Exactly.
14 was rough vintage, and yeah, it reminded me of, the conversations that we have here with people. Mm-hmm. These are special wines coming off a biodynamic property that aren't being manipulated, and it's going to depend on the sun and the rain and everything else.
Yeah, also I think that the big difference when you choose to work with a biodynamic approach is not only about the method, but also about your feeling with the thing that you choose, like your first partner, so the vineyard, nature itself. You couldn't expect that nature can be the same every year. Yeah. It's crazy. So that's why wines are not the same every year.
In 2020, a lot of people around here did not bottle red wines because of smoke.
The fires.
Do you have any of those situations? They do in France sometimes. I mean,
in France sometimes they have.
And you?
Fortunately, not for the moment. Not for the moment. But when we have a very dry season, we are very scared about fires, of course, because it's hard to control them. And we had a very dry season in 2022. But fortunately, not such a problem like fires.
So what's the main difference between all of the different Sangioveses that you're making? Is it time that it's spent in barrel?
No, actually, terroir.
Right.
Rosso di Montalcino and Cielo d'Ulisse, Brunello are from the forest vineyards, so the west side.
Explain that when you say forest vineyards.
Montalcino is a square. So it's easy to divide the different places. And the west is completely covered by a forest. So it's a very wild kind of environment. Forest with high trees. Is the lower part of Montalcino itself with alluvional soils, so richer in organic substances, but also a great mix of rocks volcanic rocks, alluvional rocks. It's a little bit of everything. And so from this side, we have the Rosso and the first Brunello that maybe we're going to taste.
Yeah, we are.
Little spoiler, we are. Okay. And then Amore Magia and Lupi e Sirene, that is our Riserva, are made with the vineyards in the southeast, so the opposite side of the hill. And we are lucky because having vineyards in such different environment means having very different wines.
Yeah.
So because also we don't manipulate the wines in the cellar so strongly, we use the same kind of oak, usually the same timing between Cielo d'Ulisse and Amore Magia in the same harvest. And so it's interesting to taste the different phases of the Sangiovese.
Will you talk a little bit about the sort of, what I'm assuming are the microclimates of these different parts of Montalcino? Because I'm guessing that it's really different where it's that tall forest.
Absolutely.
As opposed to the other side, right?
Yeah.
Will you go into that a little bit?
Of course. So forest is incredible because it's a little bit more flat in terms of vineyard itself. You can see vines living more relaxed over there. So a little bit more generous, bigger vines, and a great biodiversity that helps a lot with our approach in the vineyards itself. So a very, very complex environment and chilly weather because thanks to the forest, we always have air circulation. So that's great. Southeast is the sunny side of Montalcino itself. We see the sun rays the very early morning, and we have clay. So clay, very hard to work with clay. Most of the clay we have is white, so full of calcar, very ancient soils. And that's why also we started to work with the biodynamic method very far from here, because biodynamic is the best way for the moment to take care also about the vitality of the soil. And maintaining alive clay soils is not easy. So, yeah. Oh, Cielo d'Ulisse.
Especially when you combine clay soils and the hotter side of the hill. And just baking those soils.
It's harder now than in the past because the southeast, it's a pretty popular area in Montalcino. You can find many important wineries, but especially great wines from the southeast. But you need a particular sensitivity to each season, I think.
All right, what are we pouring now?
Now we start with Brunello, Cielo d'Ulisse.
The sky of Ulysses.
Yes.
Yeah, sky. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the south. Yes, that's the west.
This is the forest side.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
2018 harvest. Here we go.
And it's amazing the tannin integration on these wines for like spending as much time as they do in oak. It's not like oaky flavors, and the tannins are like so integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm happy about it. Yeah, oak it's incredible for Sangiovese, but we think that at the same time we work so hard in the vineyards, in the fields, so we want to taste the juice, the grapes itself, not something extra from.
So primarily neutral barrels, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
And large. Right?
Wow.
Yes, pretty big.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Buy a case. Lay them all down. Hide them from myself.
I'm back into Italy.
We need a few bottles from you and Chava too.
Many.
We can figure out a way to make that happen.
Throw a
Maybe
couple extra in
trade
a
or
box to
something.
get sent over on accident.
I volunteer to retrieve in person.
Oh, yeah, we got Courier Tristan on the road.
Tristan's happy to come over and pick it up for us.
Okay. No, I wait all of you in Italy. In Montalcino, we're going to have a big tasting.
That trip is going to make the case price a little high, but hey, at least you'll have
Wine and steerage, man. Back of the plane.
Oh my gosh, this is great.
The only bag he's allowed to check is the one full of bottles on the way home.
Fair enough.
So, how do you get to your place?
How?
Yeah, from like Florence, from Rome, from wherever you are. How do we travel?
But me personally, sorry.
No, just tourists.
Just
How do we
tourists.
come?
Okay. It's not the best place to to be Montalcino in terms of commodity, we can say, because from Rome, 2.5 hours driving, and from Florence, a couple of hours driving always, because it's not very well connected, but absolutely very
So
beautiful
you get
to
to
visit.
take those country roads?
Yes, but you can enjoy about amazing landscapes. So yeah.
You're in Castiglione dell'Abate.
Castelnuovo dell'Abate, yes.
Castelnuovo,
Sì,
sorry,
sì.
yes. Which is the Abbey of Sant'Antimo is there as well, correct?
Yeah.
Just one of the most medieval, evocative buildings and landscapes you can ever hope to see anywhere in Europe, for my money. And just that legacy of viticulture from the Romans through the Middle Ages, where a lot of the wine production probably would have been going through and to the monasteries. And it's just, it's incredible.
No, absolutely. It's very suggestive, like place, because we have the abbey and then the village on a little hill. Because I mean, the village, we are 300 people, maybe. Yeah, and animals, nothing else.
Yeah, what kind of animals?
Cats.
Oh. I was expecting like cows, pigs.
In the village, no. But for example, in Le Ripi, we have also other kind of animals. We have a cow, we have many goats, sheep.
Camilla.
Camilla, Tranquilla, the donkeys.
Lots of wolves, right?
Lots of wolves, but in the forest, they
Really?
you see, they're shy. They're shy. Wild boars, deers. Also wild animals as well, but
Eat those wild boars.
I was going to say, we can get an cinghiale pairings here.
Yeah.
I know a few Italian words. Less than I should.
Just the
but
important
my
ones.
last name, but yeah.
So how much of your wine gets sold in Italy and how much makes it out to other parts of the world?
In Italy, I think we are around 15-20%. And all around, but because we are in 35 or 40 countries, we like to travel. So we open different business all around. But yeah, US, then North Europe, we work very well with North of Europe. The Asian side is very interesting, but newer than the other.
And how do you guys decide who gets to go out and represent? Like, you don't send Chavo.
No. Chavo will be happy to hear all of those things. No, allora we have the sales manager is Gabriele. So Gabriele travels a lot all around. Then also Sebastian. But from 1 year, I'm also helping them a little bit because for us it's very important to try to explain also our project that could be nice and with the wines themselves. So it's important to be not everywhere, but around.
Yeah, and it's one thing to just sit and try wines, but you guys actually do a great job. There is some great stuff, some great content on YouTube that you can see the property and different tastings that have happened with the wines that get people excited about them.
Yes, we try to be in touch with people that are curious about our reality. Of course, then YouTube. Now we have also other kind of social media like Instagram. That is the faster we know, but it's not easy to.
So how do I go about buying?
Well, that's the thing
bottle of wine
that we,
right
we want to share with people that listen to the show is I'm assuming most of the placements are in restaurants, right?
We actually have quite a big retail presence as well.
Oh, bonus. Okay, cool. Then that's what we want to know.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. I mean, Italy, of course, in LA, and then also in San Jose is a big lover of the Podere Le Ripi wines.
Wait, what's in San Jose? There's
Italy. There's a second location there.
I've never been.
Yeah,
We need to make
you should go.
field trip.
Grab some bottles. They have almost all of these SKUs there.
And around here?
Around here, well, we've been working in San Francisco the past 3 days, and we've made quite a few placements.
Yeah.
So a lot of by the glass, but also, and then there's a couple different Newcastle Wine Shop in Newcastle. They have everything. For now.
Can
And then
you order online at all from anyone?
Yeah.
And have it?
Oh
delivered?
yeah, absolutely. Coit Liquor. We just did a deal with them. So they're
Sure.
they're in the middle of
San Francisco.
San Francisco. So they have some of the stuff.
I think they have some 16600 at Coit Liquor also.
Oh, really?
Ah, interesting.
Thanks, Paul.
Do they have any Shannon?
Oh God. So do you like coming around, traveling, and talking about the wine and talking about the same story every 20 minutes?
But it's never the same story because it depends. Depends who you have in front of you. Yes. I mean, I couldn't be able to explain what we do if I didn't take part about the process. Yeah. So it's easy because it's like trying to tell someone what you do. So what you live, how do you live, what you do in your life. It's like talking with friends most of the time. So it's funny.
Yeah. Have you been to the United States a lot?
Couple of times before, but first time in California.
Where were you before?
New York, Washington, but always for work, never for a holiday.
Right.
Right. So yeah.
What's your favorite?
Actually, I love New York, but San Francisco also. I'm loving this place a lot. See, I'm happy to have a few free. Yeah. See. I'm happy to have a few free days. So I hope to enjoy.
Oh, cool.
The city a little bit more.
It's such a beautiful spot.
Yeah. I'm feeling a good energy.
All right, what are we drinking now?
Another Brunello. Yeah. Amore e Magia. So different terroir. Southeast.
Love and eat.
Magic.
Love and magic. Yes, love and magic.
It's a lot of magic in there.
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah, that's a different harvest because it's the 2017, but the main difference is the terroir, not the harvest.
Okay.
That's Castelnuovo dell'Abate style, so different than Cielo d'Ulisse.
Is there a little new oak on this, or still all neutral?
All neutral. Then all of them are neutral. Sometimes we use newer oak because in times we needed to buy a little bit more. Yes, right. Need space.
Spectacular. Was 2017, I know 2016 was sort of one of the vintages of the century, supposedly, in Tuscany in general. How does it compare with some of the other vintages we have here today? And are you guys all sold out of the 2016? Is that why we're not seeing it?
Last night, we have had a 2016, and last night we had a corked bottle of this beautiful Reserva. It was devastating. Or else we would have that. And that was the Wolves and Mermaids.
Yes. Doppie Sirene.
Yeah.
Capita.
But the 16, we only have about 16 bottles left in the U.S.
So before this episode airs,
we've sold almost all of it, actually. Yeah.
Nice.
700 hours of DTC.
These Brunellos are fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Oh, I really do.
Yes.
Super.
Beautiful. Well, it just really fits my taste profile.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, red.
Good wine.
Is it wrong to have a glass of red wine? I don't think so.
The
No.
salinity on these wines is amazing. There's something from this property that's it's incredible flavor profile.
Yeah, we try to keep the best every vintage from the vineyards. So it depends a lot also on the season. We can't do the same things every time because we always have something different.
It's amazing.
And yet, those two are very different also.
Yeah.
Very.
Mhm.
Yes.
This has much more tannin in it.
Yes.
Yeah, more layers, different complexity for sure. But that's the beauty of Sangiovese. You never have the same.
It's just a different mouthfeel a little bit. The other's a little more sumptuous. This is a little more tangy, a little maybe acidic. You guys are the Somm, so I'll shut up.
And spice, the spiciness and a little bit of sweetness too.
Yeah.
And salinity. It's just like the
Yeah.
combination is it's really good combo.
The sweetness is something very typical from Castelnuovo dell'Abate area. Yeah.
These are just really well balanced for me.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow.
Well, it sounds like you're about to have a lot of fun for the next few days. Little sales, little fun.
And the sun's going to come out eventually.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Not
No
today.
promises.
Not today. And maybe not tomorrow.
We will see.
Possibly the day after.
Tomorrow.
Oh, man.
I know you have us speechless here with the wines.
Yeah. That doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
But
Okay, take your time.
even the quality and complexity of the Rosso, the Montalcino, granted I haven't had any Brunello in a few months, but that I would have.
I haven't had any Brunello in a few months.
Yeah, as one doesn't. But I would have pegged the Rosso for a true Brunello, which
Yes.
that's just.
Yeah.
I'm not the first to say it, I know, but
But it's true. It's also because of the aging that we choose to have for the Rosso. See, in a blind tasting, it's hard to say if it's a Rosso, Brunello. Sometimes it's very borderline. In a good way. So it's good.
No, all the wines are amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm sure you will have good responses wherever you guys end up over the next few days with the wines. And you guys got any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to shoot it
I
out.
want to know more about some of the more recent vintages, stuff that's coming in the pipeline. How the last few years have been weather-wise. I know it's complicated and difficult as it is everywhere, but how it is, and obviously it's climate change and how it's affecting you guys on a day-to-day.
Yes, absolutely. In the last years, I'm understanding that you need a big fantasy because every season actually can be opposite than the previous one. So, for example, 19 was such a perfect season that everyone would like to have a few times. Then every time a different challenge. So 2022, 23, 24, all different, challenging. So every time when you learn something new, say, okay, I solved the problem in this way, so I will do like this. No, forget about it. So the year after, you will have different problems, different challenges. But leaving your place is the best thing that you can do to try to take home something nice. That's the only thing that you can do. Yeah.
And then will you talk a little bit about we're kind of talked about it during talking about the high density vineyard, the bonsai vineyard, and the clay soils, and what you're doing to sort of keep those soils alive. What is a cover crop mix like there? Are you actively planting cover crops? Is it native plants? How does that work? Because you got to plant, seed it, and then also till it or mow it or something.
So the first way to protect a soil to maintain it alive is cover the soil itself. So don't take away all the grass, the spontaneous herbs that you have. Then also we used to do green manure, is sovescio in Italian. So with a specific kind of plant that you personally plant through the rows to the fields. With the specific plants, some of them fix the nitrogen in the soil, others just keep inside. Also specific kind of insect to improve the biodiversity. other with them roots break the soil and create structure itself. And then we try to add organic substances with the compost, for example. Then for sure biodynamic preparation can help, but they help. They're not the solution for everything. So that's how we act. And also we try to don't move with tractors in the bad moment. For example, when it's too wet, when it's not the good time.
Compaction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, where do you guys get manure from the property, or do you have to bring it in
we would like, because one of the first aim of a biodynamic farm is trying to create everything you need on site, but you should need many cows, and we have only one. Poor Irina. So we buy the compost from our neighbor. Yes, from, of course, organic estate.
Why do you just have arena? Is there not enough space to have more cows?
No, I would love to have more cows. I'm trying sometimes to tell Alessandro, the agronomist, why we're not having more cows. But no, it actually is busy having animals. So we leave them free in the vineyards during winter time. But you need specific people taking care about them and people that are able to understand when there are some problems with them. And so, for the moment, it's pretty hard. But who knows? In the future, maybe.
Is there a possibility to expand any of the property? Like any people on the sides of you that...
I don't think so. I don't think so. That also... Castelnuovo dell'Abate, southeast, is very, very hilly, steep. So it's hard to create great places for animals. But I don't know. Maybe we will figure it out.
Cool.
Yeah. For the moment, we have many bees. Easier. Less space.
They don't take as much room as a cow.
That's true.
A lot of bees.
You guys keeping bees on the property?
Yes.
Who's in charge of that?
A beekeeper. Yeah. For a couple of years, we have a beekeeper because when you have 5 beehives, 5-10 is like a hobby. Then when you would like to have 200 families, you need someone to take care about them.
And olive oil? Are you guys doing olive trees as well?
Yeah, sì. From both sides of Montalcino. Yeah.
Ooh, cool. So do you actually have 2 different bottlings then?
We have a mix of olive varieties, the classic Tuscan olive trees, and then also a monocultivar, that is the olivastra, so the typical olive tree that we have in Montalcino and around.
Need some of that too.
Yeah.
Add that to the list.
Pretty good.
Start looking for flights.
On it.
Start on the low side of Expedia now.
You got it.
Right.
See.
Well, thank you for sharing the wines.
Beautiful.
Thank you to you.
Yeah, and your
Thank
time.
you to you for having me here.
Yeah.
It was a real pleasure. Very nice.
Yeah, totally. Anything you guys want to talk about before?
Did we miss anything? We usually miss things.
Just in California, these are distributed through Serendipity Imports. So if anyone who's a buyer is interested,
That's the key.
yeah, Serendipity would be the way to go. Or me, I can connect you to anyone.
Give your contact info.
My email is hgordon, GORDON, @darkstarimports.com. So,
Perfect.
yes, reach
Dark
out.
Star.
We'd
No, I
love to
meant
hear
ask
from you.
about
like that.
Where that name came from. For
The previous owner before Marco Stevanoni, he was a big music fan.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Say no more.
yep.
Sounds a little more specific than just music.
Yes.
Shall we go, John? You and I, while we
Yes.
Transitive Nightfall of Diamonds.
All right. Will you do us a favor and say hello to Julia and Chavo, especially Chavo?
Okay, va bene.
Tell them everyone in California we said hi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big fans out here in California.
Sì, exactly.
We're going to send
He
Tristan
will be
over.
happy.
Actually, do
yeah, you
want
wanna
to
trade?
We can just put him in.
Can we trade Tristan for Chavo maybe just for a couple weeks?
Volunteer.
Exchange program.
Couple of weeks, yes, but then I think we need back our cellar master. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tristan's pretty useless in the cellar.
He is certified, though. He is forklift certified.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. You guys got
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Well, I have no idea when the show's coming out, but Reach for the Moon is up and running. The Moon Mountain District tasting May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Here,
Oh, nice.
yeah. Here in town at a fancy hotel. I think we can talk about it.
Undisclosed location.
Undisclosed location, but it's somewhere near MacArthur and Broadway. And it's not the gas station. So that's
not
out
Jack's.
there. I'm sure there's other things going on. Wine clubs. I don't know. Oh, it's the year of Zinfandel, Brian. Have you heard?
Is it?
I just heard this
It's the
morning.
year of Zin. And our first vintage from the vault collection for 2025, the year of Zin, is going to be three oldest Zinfandels that we have any inventory of, paired with Ziggy Stardust because it starts with a Z.
Ooh.
So, the year of Zinfandel. I don't know. Had you heard?
Beautiful.
Everybody knows.
No, I'm
Everybody's
into
talking
it
about
though. How exciting.
Do you like Primitivo?
Oh,
Never mind. Forget it. We're going to edit that part out.
When it's biodynamically grown and made from spontaneous fermentations and with love
In a brick cellar.
in a brick cellar.
In a brick cellar.
By crazy people.
By
probably
crazy
be good.
people. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, might be
Of
good.
course.
We checked
We
some
could
of
try.
those boxes.
We could try.
Rena the cow walks by every once in a while.
Yes. The bees.
Right on
She's
the...
literally
right?
Rena the cow. There's only one of her.
I know, the poor thing.
No, but she's with other many animals. Not cows, but donkeys. The stuff. No, she's the boss. I mean...
Don't feel bad for Rena.
no, don't feel bad for Irina.
All right, thank you guys. We'll,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk next week.
There you go.
Subscribe,
See ya.
review, drink more Brunello, but also Zinfandel.
Sam, it's the year of Zinfandel. Have you heard?
I had no idea. I hadn't heard.